Welcome to 2212 Readiness with Miss Wendy Mangum, Mrs. I'm so glad that you guys decided to take this course, and if it was mandatory for you, I'm glad that you're here too. My hope for all of you guys is for you to pass NCLEX on your first time. So that's the ultimate goal. I've told you that from day one. That is what we want. So this class is designed to help you accomplish that goal. My class is an elective. It is similar to Cheryl Bedingfield's class, but it is not exact. You know, her class is the seminar class. Her class focuses more on HESI and looking at deficit areas for you guys and making it individual to your needs. My class is kind of generic for all students. So it just focuses on testing strategies, using the NCLEX test plan, exposure to just some different things. So first and foremost, I want to talk about the first day handout. This has been uploaded on your Canvas site, your 2212, under Files. It's pretty generic. It looks real similar to most of the other first day handouts that you guys have gotten since first semester. There are a couple of things that I want to go over specifically as it relates to this class. Number one being that if you are a repeat student, whether you are repeating fourth or if you have repeated any previous semester, this class is mandatory. It is also mandatory that you pass this class, okay? So you must pass with a C or better. Now this class is points based, and I will discuss that in greater detail in just a few minutes, but just make sure that you know if it's required, if you fall into that category of a readmit, or if you made below 70 on your admission HESI, you have to pass the class. You can't drop it if you're failing and then still expect to pass fourth semester, because you will not. So make sure that that's clear. If you need to discuss that matter with me further, you can find me in my office. You can email me, call me, whatever you need to do to make sure that you have a clear understanding. You may want to print the first day handout and go over it with me. If you want to pause this video and do so, that's perfectly fine. If you have had friends who have taken this class in the past, some things are a little bit different. So on your first day handout, if you will go to the next to the last page, it just explains some things in greater detail. First of all, any discussions that we have, those are going to be found on Canvas, and you're actually going to be required to have discussions every even week. That's on your testing calendar. Your testing calendar has been uploaded on Canvas as well. It looks like this right here. It tells you when tests open and close, and it goes with weeks. Like the start of the 19th, which was my birthday, was the first week of class. So, you know, if you'll look and see week 1, week 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth, you can tell when things open and close. You will have to participate in a discussion on weeks 2, 4, 6, 8, and so forth, you know, your even weeks. I will post that discussion topic on Monday by 10 a.m. and it will close on Friday by 10 a.m. Please do not worry. This is not going to be a lengthy discussion. It does not have to be, you know, any kind of English format, you know, special formatting. If you would be grammatically correct, that would be greatly appreciated. But once again, I'm not going to knock you for your spelling. The first one, you know, this first week, since I'm just now uploading first day handout information, this one's going to be a freebie for you, meaning you will automatically, you know, get your attendance for this week. Next week will be week 2, and that's when the discussions will actually take place. But even that one is going to be easy. It's going to ask you something like, have you read the first day handout and looked at your semester calendar? And you will respond to me, yes, I have read and understand the requirements for this class, or however you choose to word it is appropriate. What I'm going to do with this is, if we get to the end of the semester and you did not get a passing grade, I'm going to bring you back to that second week where you signed, or you discussed saying that you read and understood, what was expected of you for this class. So that's the purpose of that. The discussions in the weeks to follow, I hope to relate it to a topic that you've been covering, in your semester, but with so many different groups doing different things, sometimes that is an unrealistic expectation, but I'm going to try and do the best I can. It won't be anything that is going to kill you or eat away lots of your time. I know you guys have a lot going on in fourth semester, but please remember that this is a 2-hour class, so you are expected to spend about 2 hours a week solely on this class. Hopefully it'll be a little less than that, but that is the minimum requirement. Okay, so this is the big change for this course. Since we have started using ExamSoft for testing, I decided to swap this class to an ExamSoft platform. So the tests are not loaded under Canvas. They are going to be in Exemplify, which is where your tests have been. You guys should be used to that. We've been testing in Exemplify for about a year now. So when you get your testing calendar, this document right here, if you'll look at it, you can see that your first test is going to open on August the 29th. All of your tests, with the exception of the final exam, are open for 2 weeks. They're going to open at 8 a.m. and close at 11 on the dates that are listed on your calendar. So test 1 opens on August 29th and it closes on September the 12th. When the test opens on the 29th, I'm going to put an announcement on Canvas giving you the assessment password. Now, in order to make it to where you guys can receive rationales for your test, I had to make all of these exams secure. So you will be required to come and take these tests in the ADN computer lab. But please don't panic. The test is going to be open for 2 weeks. Now, I said earlier that this class is points-based. All of your tests, which is going to be a total of 7 of them, plus a final, are 50 questions, your final being 100. Now, you only have to make a 70 to receive 10 points. If you make below 70, you get 0 points. So let's think about it. If you have a total of 7 tests and you make at least a 70 on each of them, that's 70 points. A final exam, the breakdown is on the first day handout, but if you score an 80 or above on the final, you can receive 20 points. So if you meet the max for your 7 tests and the max for your final, that's a 90. That's an A. This class is a 10-point grading scale. And then when you when you respond to your discussion saying that you have read the first day handout and you understand, you will automatically receive 10 points. And that's your 100, your straight A for this 2-hour credit course. Please look at these guidelines in your first day handout and ask me any questions that you have. I'm sorry that I'm not meeting with you individually, but in order to schedule everybody a time, there was just no good time for everyone to be here. So that's why I chose to do the video. So, once again, your tests are going to be 50 questions. They are open book. The downside to the test is that you will have to do it in the ADN computer lab. You'll log into Exemplify just like you do with any other test that you take. You'll use the password that I give you on Canvas. You'll take the test. Now, instead of getting the correct answer and the rationale once you submit the exam, the rationale will be re-released to you once the test date closes. I would hate to think that students would run through a test just to get the rationale and then retest to make a 100. I hope none of you guys would do that, just because that kind of defeats the whole purpose of this class. But in order to prevent that from happening, that is how I have set up the test. Now, when you come to take it, if you don't make a 70 despite using your book or any other resources that you might want to use, please don't fret. As long as it's within that 2-week window, I will give you another download. I want you guys to make at least 70 and to get your max points. If you are having trouble, you have just got to contact me. That is all I ask. I will not reopen the test once the test date closes. I want to make that very clear. I just cannot do that, okay? And to keep it fair for all students, I'm just putting it out there right now. And it's spelled out very clear in my first day handout. So please make sure that you read it. Because if you come back to me at the end of the semester wanting me to reopen a test because you forgot, I'm going to refer you to your discussion where you said you read and understood the first day handout. Okay? So just make sure that you follow that guideline. Your attendance, if you do not respond to 3 discussions, 3 absences gets you dropped from the course, okay? So please make sure that on the even weeks, week 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, I won't make you do it on the 16th week because y'all be getting ready to graduate. You will not be paying me any attention. Make sure that you complete the required discussion. Once again, it's not going to be anything that you're going to have to spend hours upon hours trying to do. I want to try to think of ways to help you to be successful because that's what it's all about, okay? Grading scale, 10 points, 90 to 100 is a A, 80 to 89 is a B, and so forth and so on. You guys can read about that, okay? I'm just going to read this last statement because I want you guys to understand, and I've said most of it already, but tests 1 through 7 and the comprehensive tests are in exam solved under the 2212 readiness course. You're actually going to test and exemplify. Each test is going to be open for 2 weeks. I will put the password on Canvas. The final exam will actually be open for 3 weeks. When the test closes and you're able to get to your rationales, if there's something that you don't understand or you need further explanation, please send me an email or come by and see me, and we'll sit down together and figure it out, okay? I want you to make sure that you're understanding. When I redid all these questions this summer, I want you guys to know that all of this content is coming from first semester. Even though it may be a oncology question or a pediatric question, it all comes back to first semester concepts. And I know they're in first semester because I still teach in first semester. So it just goes to show you how important that foundation is for you guys. So I want to make sure that you have a clear understanding, because these questions are supposed to mimic the questions that you will see on your licensure exam. Okay, well that is about all that I have. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, I will be glad to answer them for you. This is the first time that we have tried to use an elective on the Exemplify site. If we experience problems, just communicate those to me, and we may have to revert going back to Canvas, for testing. But I need you guys to give me input. Constructive criticism would be the most appropriate. But all of this stuff is designed to help you to be successful, and that is what I want most of all. Thank you guys for watching, and please come see me.